Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. Today we're going to have a look at AGIX. Now, what we were looking for here is that potential for a fourth wave, and the target areas we were looking for was between this zone of this 2211 to this 1569 that we're looking at for as a potential to come down lower here. Now, we have come down into the 1236 already, so we need to be aware that we are within a typical range where we could actually see a reversal. We have also come down and interacted with the top end of this move here as a fourth wave, so we need to always be aware that we could be looking for the potential to actually already move up for this fifth wave to the upside. Now, we have done a macro video where we go through the different counts that we're looking for. At the moment, I'm primarily still looking for this potential where we are looking for a fourth. This fourth can still not be completed, so we need to be aware of that, but we could also be looking for this move to the upside here. Check that video out for more information. Okay, so let's get into the micro counting now. So if we want to argue that we are looking at this move as a completed structure here, what we could argue is that we've had this move actually complete in this way, where we look at this as WX, and then within here we have a WX and a Y to complete for this Y wave. Now, if this is the case, this could mean that we actually have a low in place here at this 22693315, and this could mean we're starting to push up in that fifth wave. So if we're going to argue that bullish case first, what we would be looking for within this count is we can count this in a few ways. And now we also do need to be careful because we can potentially count this as a corrective move. So this would be the bullish case where we are looking for the fact that we could have had a fourth wave completed. Now, if this is the case, what we'd be looking at is two things. So currently I'm looking for the potential that this could actually be a wave 1 into here, this blue count as a diagonal, looking for this as a 2, and then treating this as basically a third wave that is still ongoing. So that third wave is actually looking to push up higher here. So we have met the target already for this potential as a 1-2, looking for this fifth wave to the upside here. Now, what we looking for is a 1-2 third wave completed, looking for this fourth and the fifth. Typical fourth wave zone we look for is between this 3058 to this 2853. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. If we just see three wave structure down here, which we currently do have, what I'll be looking out for is the potential of a reversal to the upside for this fifth wave. Now, it is possible that this fourth wave could look to push down a little bit lower. If I throw this fib onto here, we can actually see that that 1-1 would actually bring us closer down towards this 2862, which would be that 50% line. So we need to keep an eye on this as a potential target area where we could see this move into. Now, if we are talking about this as a 5-wave structure, we are not allowed to cross this wave 1, which is sitting here at this 2741. Movement down past this would invalidate the potential of this additional yellow fifth wave to the upside, and then we would not be looking for this additional fourth and a fifth. If we do push up here towards this 3461 to this 3330, what we could then find is an additional fourth and a fifth to the upside. Fourth wave target would actually be looking to come back down here into this previous fourth wave zone here between this 3145 to this 2898, and then we would be looking for that continuation to the upside in a 5-wave move. Now, if we are talking about this being a bigger fifth wave, what we would then want to see is from the completion of this, looking for a 3-wave move down and then continuation in a bigger 5-wave move to the upside. What we need to be cautious of, however, is if we do form this as just A, B, and C, and we're only actually push up towards this zone here of this 4222, what this could mean is that we just have a corrective structure here and that we could actually look to break down from this point. So we do have a zone here which has got the golden pocket in it. So this little yellow box here would be a 0.618 to a 0.65 retracement of this move to the downside. So we need to be aware of that. If we do move up into this zone here, this could be a likely point of a rejection if it's going to be just a corrective move to the upside. Alternatively, if we do get a move up here towards this zone here of this 5800, this would tie into the idea of this third wave, looking for a fourth and a fifth, which could look to bring us up here towards this 70 cent 52 to this 62.48. Now, this could tie into the idea of actually just coming back here and looking to challenge this third wave high and actually getting a truncation in this as a fifth wave. So we need to be aware of that if we are looking at a fifth wave here, it is possible that within this structure, we could actually see this impulse fall short of this higher target here, and we could see this come and actually look to target out actually this zone here of the 7162 or this 1-1, which is this white line here, which is sitting towards a 6789. So this would be 1-1 of the wave 1. So if we do get a 5-wave move up here, we need to be cautious of this fact of actually looking to have a shorter fifth wave here into this zone. Alternatively, if we do move up higher here, we've got our red target box, as well as some of these higher zones here of this 618 at this 145, and then we have this line here at this 132 as a 1.618 of the wave 1. So this could be another zone if we do look to push up in a bigger way. What is the other way that this could be playing out if we are looking at this as a 5-wave move? So that was looking at a diagonal. We could also argue that within this count here, what we have is the potential of extension within these waves where we have a series of 1s and 2s in the beginning here. Now this would look to potentially push us up a little bit higher and would indicate that we have some additional structures here with additional 4ths and 5ths to the upside, which would mean that we're getting an extension basically within this 3rd wave. So if we are looking at this in this way, basically what we'd be looking for is pretty much the same thing in the shorter term here, where we're looking at this as a 1, 2, 3, and we're looking for this 4th wave and a 5th wave. Typically speaking, if this is the case, this would develop in the channel. So this is why I have this channel drawn here. And what I'd want to see is an interaction with this, and then basically moving up in a 5-wave sequence, looking for this 5th wave to the upside. Once again, we'd be looking for this zone of this 3465 to this 3333, looking for that potential of a 5th wave up into this area, and then looking for this previous 4th wave to hold once again. So as long as we continue to hold the zone of the previous 4th wave, even if it doesn't come down as low, as long as this zone holds, we can look for the potential of continuation up here and extension. Now if this does play out the way that we have it shown here, and we get this orange 4th and a 5th, that could give us a count that actually pushes us up into this area here of this 368 3 to this 3493 zone for this 5th wave, an additional 4th wave down into this zone, and then a 5th wave looking to target out this zone of this 3918 to this 3697. Now once we complete this, once again what we'd have to be on the lookout for is a 3-wave move to the downside. If we do find a 3-wave move, finding support in this zone of this 2524 to this 2923, we can look for potential for extension to the upside. So this is going to be key for that bullish count to the upside here, looking for that continuation. Now what if this is not a 4th wave completed? So if we want to argue that actually what we have here is not a 4th wave completed, what we'd have to do is actually come back out here and revisit how we look at this count. So there is the potential that we could have this as a WX, YX, and a Z. Now some interesting targets for this would actually be higher up here towards this 4897, which would actually bring us back into this high here, which could actually look for a swing failure if we are going to look to reject down. Now we do have some other levels up here with some daily naked points of control, monthly naked points of control, the 786 and the golden pocket. So this is the golden pocket of this range, and the 786 of this entire range also lies within this area. So I would be keeping an eye on this. If we do get a big move to the upside here, we could see interaction with this point. Now I've also got this channel drawn on here, which could mean that we get something like this WX, we get a move back into this channel, which would be somewhere in this area, and we'd then be looking for that correction again in a Z wave. If we did move up to this 1-to-1, the 1-to-1 of this W wave to the downside would actually look to bring us back to this 1990 area. So this is what I'm looking for. If you look to actually complete this move up as an additional 5th wave, this wouldn't change the idea here. We would just be looking at that possibility that this becomes A, B, and C, and then we look to break down. This is why if we do find support in this zone here above this 2444, what we need to be aware of is that we could see, continuation to the upside. And if we do have an additional 4th and a 5th here, then we can look for that possibility that we get that good structure for that impulse, and then we could look for, that we get a secondary 5-wave move. If we had to break down directly from this point, what we'd have to argue is that this is just ABC, in which case what we'd be looking for is potential to come back down into this zone here of this 618, which is sitting here towards this 25983. So this would be an interesting zone. I do have a monthly naked point of control down here, as well as obviously we have this golden pocket. So that would be a bit of confluence in this area if we do look to break down in a bigger way here, looking for a B wave. So keep an eye on this if we do break down. Typically speaking, we will look to target out this 50% to the 786 if we're looking for a B wave, but it does depend on what the structure is. If we get a more complex correction, potentially what we could actually do is retest this zone here of this 2847, and this could be a lot shorter, though really if we didn't break through this 2847, we'd still have to be cautious of that idea that this isn't a 4th wave and then a 5th wave, even though it would be quite deep at that point if it does break down to these lower levels, but it wouldn't actually invalidate it. Now, if we are looking at this, we'd be saying that we're going to get a corrective move to the upside here and one more move to the downside. Now, we do have another way of counting this where we could talk about this, is that in fact what we have here is actually an A, B, and C. So that would be looking at this move from over here, where this is A, this is B, and then we're looking for a C wave. Now, if we're treating this as a C wave, what we could then argue is that potentially we could still see something like this, where we have to actually break down one more time, where we treat this as 1, 2, this is a third wave, this is a fourth, and then looking for a fifth. So at the moment, all we have is three-wave structure to the upside. This move has also come up into the 50%, which is sitting here at this 3224. So if we do start to break down here in a bigger 5-wave sequence, what this could mean is that we actually haven't completed this move, and what we will be looking for is a potential that this is a B wave, and then we're looking for this as a C wave to the downside. The problem is, if we do have a look at this count in this way, we need to be very cautious that we don't actually have this as an additional 5-wave move here, where this becomes 1, 2 for a flat, and then we actually break down in a bigger way. So we need to be cautious of that idea, that we could actually be looking to break down in a bigger way here. We're going to go over that in a second. But if we did just get a single 5-wave move to the downside, which actually looked to brings us down to this 2094 to this 1828 area as a typical 5th wave zone, what we'd then be looking for is that potential for a reversal from this point, because what we could have is that this could be, like I said, this could be A, this could be B, and then we get this bigger C wave to the downside. So we need to be aware that this is still a potential here where we could see a move into this previous 4th wave area here. So keep an eye on this. If we do start to break down in a more impulsive way and we actually lose this low of this 261, which would actually invalidate that bullish potential off of here. If we do that, then the next target area I'd be looking for would be this 2094 to this 1828. So we need to keep an eye on that. Now, if we are arguing that we are looking to potentially break down from this point as a 4th wave completed, what we would have to say, now there's not that much structure to go with, and it does look very corrective at the moment, but what we could argue is that we could be getting something in this manner where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're actually looking for a 5th wave to the downside. And now we'd be looking at this potentially as an expanding diagonal. But these are not as common as the contracting variations, but what we could be looking for is the fact that we need to actually have one more drop here, and we'd have to cross this zone of this 02934. Now, it is also possible that we could potentially look at this move slightly different, where we'd argue that this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, 4, and then we're looking for a 5th wave to the downside here, where we're looking at this rather as a contracting variation of this count, where we'd treat this as a wave 1 location. This would be 2, this would be 3, this would be 4, and then we'd be looking for ABC to the downside for a 5th wave. So that would be this blue line that we'd be keeping an eye on. We can break through this, but we'd want to see this move reverse from this point and look to come back up for wave 2. So the key thing here is, if we do break down and we do form an additional push to the downside, whether this becomes an expanding diagonal or a contracting one in this manner, it could be either. What we'd be looking for would be that potential of a 3-wave move up. Failing to break back above this 3185 would put us in the area where we could actually be looking for this bigger 5-wave move to the downside, where this becomes a wave 1, 2, we get a bigger 3rd wave down here, 4th wave up, and then a 5th wave. Invalidation would be wherever this wave completes, and then we'd be looking for a continuation after this point. If we form a 5-wave structure to the downside like this, what we'd have to be aware of is that this could either be an A wave or this could be wave 1. If this is wave 1, that would fit into our bearish count, where we actually have a additional leg to the downside here. So we need to be aware that if this does break down in a 5-wave move, this would mean that we are probably going to take this low, because it would be quite deep at this point. And even if we did get a 3-wave move up, unless it was quite a deep 3-wave move, it would be very hard to protect this low, which is sitting here at this 2161. So we need to be aware that becomes quite likely to get challenged if we do not actually break up high enough here, if this is going to be a continuation in an ABC. Now, the bearish way that we're talking about this whole structure is actually looking at the fact that we could have a high point over here. Now, if this is a high point in that area, what we need to be aware of is we could actually see this C wave starting to play out to the downside. So the C wave target would actually be looking for this area here of this 03368 as a 1-to-1 of the A wave. Now, what we'd be looking out for here, if this is the case and we're looking to break down in this manner, would be the idea of actually having a bigger 5-wave structure developing. So this ties into that same idea of having this as a additional leg to the downside here. That The difference is that if we do complete an additional fifth wave down here, past this zone here of this 2126, this would tie into the idea that we could then be looking for a bigger third, fourth, and fifth in this blue count. So that would mean this would all be in the third wave. We'd look for a fourth and a fifth. Now that fifth wave would then potentially look to push us down slightly deeper here towards this zone of this 1737 to this 1474. So we need to be aware of this, that if we do break down here deeper and we come back down in a 5-wave move here, so first breaks down 1 2 3 4 5, and we only get a 3-wave move back to the upside, we need to be very careful of continuation to the downside. At the moment, we can continue to argue that bullish sentiment as long as we stay above this 2660, but really what we want to see is this structure actually start to complete the internals of this count. We need to hold this zone here of this 2853 and then look for that continuation to the upside here for this fifth wave. Then from there, what we want to see is the additional fourth and a fifth if this is the diagonal. If this is the series of 1s and 2s, we would get effectively another fourth and a fifth off the back of this. So we'll have to just give it some space and see what happens, but we need to just be aware that at the moment we don't have a completed structure here as a 5-wave move, so this move can always just roll over from here and take this low. If this move takes this low of this 2261, then we'd be looking for that fifth wave target. So I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.